Okay, here's a look at my collection of Inferno. So here's what I still have in my collection, and what I want to do is go over them, share some of my thoughts, and as always we start off with the original G1. So here's the original G1 Inferno, and let's just zoom in and take a closer look at him. Here's the head. It's kind of cartoon accurate, and then you can see the chrome plated plastic parts, which is characteristic of the original G1 toy. So when it transforms into vehicle mode, it looks very realistic. And the toy version does have the ladder on his back. These wing pieces, they're not on the side of his head like in the cartoon, but they attach on a peg right there on the back. And I just want to point out, look at the shoulders. It's kind of misproportioned. They should be a little bit higher, but that's what the original looks like. The original toy version has the yellow stripes on the hips. It's missing the other holes on the other side of the leg to be like the cartoon. But yeah, that's just a quick look at the original G1. So now let's compare this with the animation model, so we can see where they base the character design off of. And as always, they took some liberty to make some changes, but this figure, for the most part, they did a pretty good job of capturing all of the details. So that's just a quick look at the original G1, and then after G1 there was the C.H.U.G version. So here is the Takata Henkei version of Inferno. So let's just take a quick look at him all around. And these holes and the ladder, that's from a third-party company. I think it was TFC, which I think it really needed to help make this look like Inferno. So let's take a close-up look. And that is a really nice looking head. And when you scroll down, you have some nice detail with the seats and the steering wheel there. This is very representative of the C.H.U.G version. So it represents the character very well, but they implemented a lot of their own cool designs, such as these hydraulics down there, all the detail. And it's always a newer version. This is like a different truck version. And then these older figures did have these cool gimmicks too. So this has this like automorph transforming head when you, I forgot which one in the way, but it's like a trigger on the siren. These were really nicely built figures, more expensive too. I mean, look at the chrome plated plastic, the transparent window, all the sculpted detail. So C.H.U.G line may not be cartoon accurate, but there's something very nostalgic about this, because these were really upgraded versions of G1. So it's a quick look at the C.H.U.G version. And then after that, they did make, I think it was a Power of the Primes version, and I did not get that because it obviously doesn't look like the original G1. It's like what I consider a cheap way of Hasbro trying to cash in on the hotspot mode. But anyways, that was another version that was made, and I did not get it. And then moving on after that with the mainline figures, there is the current War for Cybertron Kingdom version of Inferno. So this one, they are designing to look a little bit more like the G1 cartoon. And they did a really nice job on sculpting the figure. So props again to these sculptors, toy sculptors, because they did a really nice job. And this is like a mix of the cartoon and toy version. So you got that ladder like the toy version. Now, something consistent with what Hasbro does that I really don't like, they don't make it perfect. So these, whatever you call them, these wings on the side of his head, they should be white. Also up here, and the holes should be white. The stabilizers should be silvered, not black. So it's consistent with a lot of their current mainline figures. So that's very annoying and irritating. But this definitely looks much better than the original G1 figure, and this actually came off fired, and it's a good way to point out the original did always have these cool features with all these spring-loaded missiles. So I forgot to mention that, so thank you for popping off so I can point that out, because these are these cool toy gimmicks that they no longer have with these new releases. So then moving on to the Masterpiece version, I'm not sure which one came first, if it was Mastermind Creations or Make Toys, but there was the Make Toys version, and I did not get that because it obviously does not look like the G1 cartoon. That one's based more off of the toy version, and he actually looks a little thin in my opinion, so that's why I didn't get it. But the Make Toys version, that is a really nice figure. It's a little bit more bulky, the plastic was good, the transformation was nice, a really solid figure in my opinion. But like many figures, Masterpiece, I gave them away to a friend, so hopefully, you know, he's enjoying it. Hopefully his kids are also enjoying it, because that really is a nice figure. And then there is the official Masterpiece Inferno by Takata. Now this is really a masterpiece. This is, look at that, that looks just like the cartoon. The chest, and I like how they gave you options. You can change it to be cartoon or the toy version. So this one's cartoon with the gray, but they gave you a chrome plated to be more like the toy version. And here you can see it has the holes on both sides, which are white. The stabilizers, very simple, clean. They don't have all this detail to be closer to the cartoon. It does not have the yellow stripe on his hips, which is the cartoon. And the most amazing thing, the ladder is tucked away inside. So this makes it definitely more cartoon accurate. So this is the definitive version of Inferno that's out there that represents the cartoon very well. So now I will also point out an X-Transbot came into this game much late because now they did recently make and finally release their version of Inferno, which for me, since I have the official, I don't need to get it. Plus this one, it's very clear X-Transbot based this off the toy version because they do a very good job of sculpting their figures to look like the cartoon, and this one does not. So they obviously intentionally made this to look more like the toy version. And even when you look at the vehicle mode, it's very detailed, almost like a real fire truck. So when you look at things from that perspective, the toy version and realism, I think it looks really good. So a lot of X-Transbot's figures, they look very good. So that is a look at the X-Transbot version. So after the Masterpiece, there are now the Legends. So here are the 3 nice legend figures of Inferno. So you can see New Age, Magic Square's first version. I'm waiting to get the second version after December 6th, and the Mech Fans toys. So I already did a comparison review if you want to check that out. But let's start off here with the most recent by New Age. Look at this. This, I already said so many great things. I don't need to repeat it. This is definitely an awesome figure. Masterpiece quality for such a legend scale. And it's amazing how they were also able to tuck that in. And like I said, the only flaw with this is really this window is should have been a little bit darker, so these pegs are not showing and the ladder is not showing. But then there is the Magic Square version. This is their first version, and yeah, there's this is not quite, I always complained early on this is not cartoon accurate, such as the black windows and then the yellow on the hips, which is more representative of the toy version. And you know, I never really complained about the ladder because, you know, it's kind of hard to figure out how to tuck that in for such a small figure. However, New Age did it. And yeah, so this is Magic Square's version. I do want to point this out too. That head is not cartoon accurate. And I'm sorry, Magic Square, as much as I love your figures, this one, that does not look like a good head, in my opinion. So I am going to get the second release, like I said, and let me just show you. That one looks a little bit more cartoon accurate. However, I don't like the metallic version on the wings on the head and the shoulders, and I'm gonna try to see if I can swap out these white pieces, and maybe hopefully it's the same color red so I can just easily swap out the arms, because I want to retain that cartoon look. And last, there was the Mech Fans Toys version, which is a KO of Magic Square, and I want to point out, if you can see the difference, Mech Fans Toys made some improvements. Obviously the blue window, but I don't like that black outline. But the biggest difference is the head sculpt. if you can see. Mech Fans Toys definitely fixed that head to be more cartoon accurate. Look at that. And look at this, they even added the sirens on the top, which is cartoon accurate, missing on Magic Square and on their second version too. So anyways, that's a look at my collection of Inferno. And let me just set them all back up so you can see what I actually still have. And ultimately, for me, it always comes down to the original G1 first, and then the C.H.U.G version, and then the current Mainline, then the Masterpiece, and the Legend Scale Masterpiece, which this is still a battle going on here between New Age and Magic Square, which one's better. But aside from this one, I think Magic Square is doing a really nice job, but New Age has just recently stepped up their game with their Skyfire, this Inferno, and the upcoming Grapple, the RC, Cyclonus, Galvatron. Yeah, so like I said, this is still a battle between those two, but those are really awesome. So here's just one final look at my collection of Inferno.